How many titles do you see Steph Curry winning over the next 4 years?
You know what? I hate to say this right now, but to be honest with you, I don't see the Golden State Warriors bringing home another championship.
Y'all gonna sit on First Take. You and Dominique Foxworth are going to sit on First Take.
Clearly remember some experts and talking heads putting up the big zero of how many championships we would have going forward because of everything that we went through. So
how many more championships do you believe Steph Curry and the Warriors will win? And I want you to answer the question with your fingers.
Sure, no problem. I think that all this pettiness is just proof that they're going to rest on their laurels. So I'll answer it with all of them. Double zeros. We go zero goggles. Steph Curry and the Warriors are done winning championships. They're just going to have to go away with a measly 4.
Seriously, at some point, this has to stop. I mean, these talking heads are just plain tripping. Time and time again, the league and the media as a whole try their best to disrespect Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors by not giving them their dues. But also, time and time again, Curry and the Warriors step up to the plate and have proven their haters wrong every single time. It's no secret that the NBA and the media had enough and are getting fed up with the Warriors. I mean, you really can't blame them because the Dubs have appeared 6 times in the last 8 NBA Finals, and it's clear as day that they're getting bored with them already as they're shamelessly pushing other teams now as their next cash cow, with one of them being the Boston Celtics. See, in the last 2-minute report of the matchup between the Dubs and the Celtics on January 20th, the NBA released a statement admitting that they missed a bunch of calls that favored the Celtics, which resulted in a heartbreaking loss for the Warriors in overtime. I mean, look, the Warriors were down here, and notice that Tatum's right foot was inside the paint the entire time, and yet the refs didn't call a defensive 3-second violation on this one. The Warriors could have been awarded 1 free throw here, which could have cut down the Celtics' lead. Now, while the previous missed call was barely noticeable, here's a pretty obvious one. As Jordan Poole cuts to the rim in the very next play, you can see that Malcolm Brogdon was trailing him and he literally just hacked JP3 here to prevent the easy layup. That blatant missed call cost JP3 an opportunity to go to the line and shoot 2 free throws, which could have chopped down the Celtics' lead to just 2 points. Same as the first play, you can see that Horford was just throwing around his weight in the paint for far too long here, and I can't believe that this referee standing over here didn't even bother to call a 3 in the key violation. And instead of receiving 1 free throw, it got much worse for the Dubs because Tatum drilled a 3-pointer right after that, which pushed the lead back to 7. Here, the refs called a foul against Klay Thompson after swiping the ball from Jaylen Brown, but as you can see, the replay shows otherwise. I mean, that's just all ball right here. And with the Warriors down 3 here, you can see that the ball was still in Horford's hands as the shot clock expires. But once again, the refs didn't blow their whistle, and that cost the Warriors about 3 seconds on the clock, which they could have used to draw a more comprehensive play on the other end with a chance to tie. The Golden State Warriors clearly got robbed in that game, and more recently, the refs turned a blind eye yet again when they didn't call an obvious foul when LeBron drove inside for a layup, which cost the game for the Lakers. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like there's a conspiracy brewing here that's more than meets the eye, if you know what I mean. Anyways, aside from the refs, lots of former players are also low-key disrespecting the Warriors, especially Steph Curry in particular. And one of them was Mike James when he dropped this ridiculous take against the Chef.
And Steph, like, how he plays and how he gets stuff off, it's just kind of one-dimensional at times. If we put Luka, Embiid, Bron, KD, and Giannis on any team in the world, they gonna be who they are right there as soon as you put them in there. I don't know about that for Steph.
Now, I really don't get it when he said that Steph was a one-dimensional player. I mean, 2-time MVP, a 4-time NBA champion, and without question, the greatest shooter on planet Earth today. I think Steph wouldn't have achieved those if he was just a one-dimensional player, as Mike James claimed him to be. And if that explanation ain't enough, this dude might be forgetting that Steph was the guy who single-handedly revolutionized the game from the three-point perspective with his insane ability to shoot long three-point shots. I mean, like, whether you're a big man or whatever position you're playing, it is now almost mandatory to shoot threes, and basically, Steph is the main force behind this whole three-point shebang we're seeing in the NBA right now. Well, despite his outrageous take, I still commend this guy for having the balls to say stuff like that against an all-time great. You know, coming from a guy who just played 49 games in total and barely averaged 9 points a ball game in his short-lived NBA career. Anyways, according to Matt Barnes, here's the real reason why current and former players keep hating Steph.
I think, he came in, he's the golden boy. He came in and destroyed record books, won championships, beat LeBron. He's done a lot of things that probably angered other players and other fans. That's why I don't think he gets the respect he deserves as going to be obviously the greatest shooter, but one of the greatest players ever to play the game. And I can see people being bitter from that, not to mention the little light skin thing and people have problems with that. And like I said, he's a perfect example of what the NBA needs to be represented as, and people don't like that either. So like most of the time when people are so good or something so perfect, so to speak, people don't like that, and that's exactly what you get with Steph.
Now, besides Steph, Klay Thompson is also one of the guys from the Dubs that have been disrespected time and time again. And 2 years ago, the NBA proved that they could sink to a new all-time low when they forgot to include Klay's name in the list of top 75 players. When the news dropped that he wasn't included, Klay expressed his frustrations over on Twitter. And though the media hasn't really been friendly to the Dubs, here's Stephen A. Smith dropping some truth bombs about Klay being snubbed from that list.
So, Stephen A., as we go through our snubs, is Klay Thompson right? Should he have been on this team?
Absolutely. He's the #1 snub for me. It is a travesty. It is absolute blasphemy that this man is not on the top 75 all-time. I will remind all of y'all that Klay Thompson's a top 5 shooter in the history of basketball. Klay Thompson was there when they went to 5 straight NBA Finals. Klay Thompson was there when they won 3 titles in 5 years. Klay Thompson, when he left, they didn't make the playoffs. By the way, did you know that this dude came into the league in 2011? And there's not one single year, not one single year, where he has shot less than 40% from three-point range. He is a career 41.9% three-point shooter. He is a marksman extraordinaire. He got heart, he got guts, he's got skills. By the way, remember that 37-point performance that he scored in 1 quarter? Do you remember that he didn't miss a shot? He hit all 13 of his shots, 9 for 9 from three-point range, if I remember correctly. This is who that dude is.
I mean, here's a list of some of the most active players that were included in that list 2 years ago. You got Carmelo Anthony, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, and Russell Westbrook. Now, despite how historically great these players were from an individualistic standpoint, these players have 0 NBA championships combined, and some of them haven't even gotten to the NBA Finals, and yet the NBA didn't even think twice about putting their names on that prestigious list. Now, on the other hand, Klay already has 4 NBA championships in the bag while playing just 10 full seasons, and in terms of individual stats, his numbers aren't actually that bad to a point where he doesn't deserve to be included in that list of the all-time greatest players ever. I mean, he's averaging almost 20 points a ball game, and throughout his career, Klay has never shot below 40% from the field, never shot below 38% from 3, and he also maintained a high shooting percentage from the free throw line, averaging 85.1% in 12 seasons. Well, aside from the NBA, analysts like Charles Barkley also had some disrespectful takes regarding Klay some years back, and one of them was when he said this.
There was a time when Klay Thompson was the best two-way guard in the NBA, and he's not the same guy, and that's because of injuries. Now, is he done? No, I don't think he's done. I think he's slowing down and is catching up with him. That's why he's frustrated.
I mean, these people will literally just say anything to get attention, Or, I don't know, maybe they just wanted to stay relevant. Anyways, Chuck's hot take didn't go unnoticed, and when Klay heard what the old man has been saying about him, he just clapped right back at him and said,
I got one thing to say. You know, it hurts when, you know, someone like Charles Barkley with the platform he has says you're not the same player prior to the injuries you have. It's like, no duh, man. Consecutive years, I tore my ACL and my Achilles in consecutive years and still help a team win a championship. I mean, it hurt hearing that because it's like, man, I put in so much freaking effort to get back to this point. Like, it's hard to even put into words what I had to do to be the player I am today. And it's like, I played 57 games in 3 years. Like, give me some freaking time to get that back and just hear someone say, oh, he's not the same as he was prior to the injuries. Like, duh. Like, who goes through something like that and comes back? I don't know. It just hurt my heart hearing that.